Have you ever felt like a ghost in the room? Always there, but somehow never really seen? Like your presence is just background noise, a shadow flickering on the edges of other people's lives, fading into invisibility the more you show up. It's a strange kind of cruelty. The more you give, the less you matter. The hours you sacrifice, the calls you answer, the endless yes you whisper when every fiber in your body screams no, and yet the world barely flinches. You start to wonder if your existence is just a footnote in everyone else's story. And that feeling? It's raw. It's a slow-burning ache that curls inside your chest, quiet but relentless, gnawing at your sense of worth until you're left hollow, questioning why you bother at all. There's a silent war raging inside you, fueled by a terrifying truth most people don't want to admit. Your availability is often born from fear. Not the fear of missing out on a party or an opportunity, but a primal, gut-wrenching fear of being left alone, unwanted, unseen, unloved. Carl Jung nailed it when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That unconscious terror twists your actions, molding you into someone who's always there, reachable, dependable, a shoulder to cry on, because you believe that's how you hold on to your place. But what if that desperate need to be present is what's burying you alive in the eyes of others? What if your constant presence is the very thing that shrouds you in invisibility, turning you into a ghost in your own story? Think about your energy like water, flowing from a well. At first, it gushes freely, unstoppable, pouring out to every demand, every crisis, every person who needs you. But wells run dry, and you're the well. When you keep draining yourself without pause, the source depletes. Yet, because giving becomes your identity, you don't recognize the drought until you're standing there, empty-handed and gasping for breath. That's the point when the exhaustion morphs into resentment. The light inside dims. The part of you that once thrived on connection starts to shrivel and retreat. And it's terrifying because you realize you've been giving your life away, piece by piece, to a world that just swallows and spits you out without a second thought. But here's where the madness turns into magic. The moment you begin to close the floodgates, the world shifts. The silence you feared becomes a roar. People start noticing your absence like a missing heartbeat, and the mask of invisibility cracks. Some rush in to fill the void, desperate to reclaim what they took for granted. Others vanish, revealing their true colors in the stark light of your distance. This space, this silence, it's brutal, but it's necessary. It's the crucible where you find out who truly values you, not just your time or your convenience, but your presence, your essence, your unyielding self. When you stop being available, you stop being a doormat, a shadow, a ghost. You rise. You reclaim something raw and fierce, your power. This isn't some soft lesson about boundaries. This is war, a rebellion against the invisible chains you've worn for too long. It's waking up from a nightmare where you're always the backup plan, the side character, the afterthought, and stepping into the blinding light of your own worth. The heavy fog of exhaustion lifts, replaced by a sharp clarity that cuts through the noise like a razor. Yes, it's terrifying. Yes, the silence can echo like a thunderstorm. But in that silence is freedom. The freedom to be unapologetically you, unshackled from the toxic addiction to approval. This is where transformation begins, raw and unfiltered. So stay close, because we're about to dive deep into 3 earth-shattering truths that hit like lightning when you stop being available. These truths don't just shake your world. They tear down the walls that kept you trapped and build something unbreakable in their place. This choice, this rebellion against invisibility, is the most powerful thing you'll ever do. It's brutal, it's beautiful, and it's the awakening that your soul has been screaming for. If you resonate with this, don't just scroll past. Let it settle in your bones. Type this in the comments. When I stop being available, I start being seen. Let that be your battle cry. Now, let's get into it. The day you stop being so available, everything shifts. Your absence becomes a mirror, a sharp, cold reflection that shows who truly values you and who only pretended to care. Picture a room alive with chatter and laughter. You step out, quietly, without a sound. The atmosphere changes instantly. Some pause, looking around, feeling something missing. Others don't even notice, as if you were never there at all. That's the raw truth. Your silence, your absence, will echo louder than anything you could ever say. Human nature makes this sting even deeper. When you were always there, always answering, always showing up, your presence was abundant. And abundance dulls value. People grow blind to what they never have to fight for. But the moment you pull away, when your footsteps fade and you're no longer just a call away, your worth skyrockets. Suddenly, the same people who overlooked you feel a weight pressing down, a restless ache, wondering, where did they go? Why aren't they here? Your absence becomes the storm that unsettles their comfort. But this mirror doesn't just reveal who misses you, it exposes the shadows too. The ones who never cared, who only clung to you to fill their own voids, vanish the moment you disappear. No messages, no calls, no trace. It cuts deep, like a blade twisting, but it's a necessary wound, because that pain clears the clutter, burning away every false bond and leaving only the ones who truly see you, who truly feel your presence and your absence. This isn't revenge. This isn't some cold punishment. This is reclamation. You are taking back every ounce of time, energy, and care you poured into people who never deserved it. Think of it like a garden you've been flooding with water, desperate to keep every plant alive. Some plants rot no matter how much you give. Others bloom brighter when you finally stop overwatering and let them breathe. Your absence is that breath. It feeds the roots that matter and starves the weeds until they fade away. And yes, there's a sting. The sting of realizing how easily some can replace you, how little some ever noticed your presence. But there's also a quiet, undeniable power in it. Because the moment you vanish, the world shows its true face. You see who steps closer, who leans in, who can't stand the distance, and who never really cared to begin with. When you stop being available, it isn't the end. It's the beginning of connection that's real, raw, and built on something solid. Not convenience, not need, not habit. Your silence will speak, and it will shake the room. The moment you stop being constantly available, the ground beneath your life changes. You're no longer everyone's lifeline, no longer the one who jumps at every call, every message, every plan you never wanted to attend. That endless giving, always being on, doesn't just drain you, it chains you. It's like running with iron weights strapped to your ankles while everyone else sprints free. But when you finally cut those chains, You don't just feel lighter, you feel alive again. This is where real power begins. Jung once said, "Until you become aware, you'll live the same patterns over and over." And most people live trapped, bleeding out their time and energy because they never stop to see how much they're giving away. The day you choose to control when and how you're available, you stop being a background character. You become the author of your life. Every moment of silence, every no you speak, becomes a declaration. My time belongs to me. Boundaries aren't walls to keep everyone away. They're gates, gates only you control. When you have none, you burn out. You vanish into the noise, carrying loads that were never yours. But when you set them, people begin to understand. Your presence isn't free anymore. Your energy isn't theirs to take at will. They either respect it or they fade. Your life is like an orchestra. When you're always available, every instrument blares at once. Chaos, noise, no rhythm. But when you pull back, you're no longer just another player. You're the conductor. You decide when the drums strike, when the strings swell, when silence speaks louder than sound. Yes, it feels strange at first, almost painful, to break the habit of being the one who's always there. But that discomfort, that's not loss. It's transformation. You're not growing distant. You're growing deliberate. The moment you stop being available on demand is the moment you start owning your life. That's the shift. That's your power. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the master of my time and energy. There's this breaking point no one warns you about. That moment when you're done being the person who answers every call, replies to every text, shows up for everyone, even when no one shows up for you. At first, it feels strange, almost wrong, like you're betraying something. But deep down, you know what's happening. You're waking up, not gently, not softly. It's a jolt, like someone just ripped the blindfold off your face. That's the birth of self-worth. Most of us grow up thinking if we're always there, always saying yes, always giving more than we should, people will love us more, respect us more, stay. But that's a lie. That's not love. That's you being a battery for people who only show up when they need to be charged. And every time you say yes when you don't mean it, you drain yourself until there's nothing left. The day you finally pull back, it feels like ripping yourself out of quicksand. Painful, but you can finally breathe again. It's not easy at first. You'll feel that sting of silence when the phone stops buzzing, when people notice you're not always around. Some will vanish. Some will get angry. But here's what hits hardest. You'll start to see who was only around because you were easy to reach, not because they truly cared. And yeah, it hurts, but it's also freedom. Because now, you're not their crutch. You're not the person they run to when it's convenient. You're just you. Standing on your own 2 feet for once, you'll notice something else too. A calm you didn't know you had. Like a lighthouse in a storm, you don't run to every ship screaming for help. You don't dim yourself just to keep others warm. You just stand there, steady and strong. The right people, those who actually respect you, will still find you. The rest, let them drift. They were never yours to hold. And yeah, there's a wave of loneliness at first, like you're floating in the middle of the ocean with no shore in sight. But that feeling, that's not abandonment. That's the start of freedom. That's you sailing back to yourself, to the version of you that doesn't need to bleed dry just to feel worthy. Cut the strings, all of them. The ones that made you dance for approval. The ones that made you say yes just to be liked. Snap them one by one. Stand there in the quiet. Let that fire build in your chest. And know this: you are not valuable because you're always available. You're valuable because now, finally, you can say, not today, not anymore. When you finally stop being so available, everything shifts. The way people look at you changes, but more importantly, the way you look at yourself does too. You start to see who truly values you and who only showed up because you were easy to reach. You pull your time and energy back into your own hands, and for the first time, you feel that fire of self-worth that doesn't beg for approval. It's not about pushing people away. It's about finally standing on your own ground and realizing your value was never tied to how much you gave. It was always in how much you respected yourself. This isn't rejection. This isn't bitterness. This is you drawing a line and saying, my time, my energy, my life, these aren't free for anyone to take. This is where the transformation begins. This is where you stop chasing and start being. If this hit you, don't just let it fade. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to wake up to this truth, and drop your favorite affirmation in the comments so we can build something real here. And subscribe, because this is only the start of your journey to being truly seen.